Welcome to another episode of Insurgent Gamers Let's Tries. Today we will be showcasing GameDev Tycoon. This will be the beginning of a new series on our channel where we will go back in time and develop games starting at the PC revolution. So let's get started. Welcome to GameDev Tycoon. In this business simulation, you have been transported back in time to start your very own game development company right at the beginning of the PC revolution. In the next 35 years, you can build your dream company, create best-selling games, gain fans, and become the leader of the market. So let's get started. Before you can start your adventure, you have to give your upcoming company a name. So I think it's only appropriate that we go with Insurgent Games. And I will play, of course, as MacTac. Kind of scroll through the hairstyles here. Maybe we'll just land on that first one. Oh, sweater vest. That's fun. Let's go with the sweater vest. So, Insurgent Games, MacTac, sweater vest. Here we go. Unlock the hints. So I have played the game before, so it's not a blind Let's Play. I haven't played in a very long time. Would you like to import all previously gained hints into this game? I do not. So we're going to choose a save slot. These are some of my old games. We're going to go with the bottom one. All right. So I turned the tutorial on so we can read through and get a sense of how exactly you play. If you ever want to review the tutorial messages, then you can... All right, we don't care about this. Okay. Congratulations, you've just started your very own game development company. At the moment, your office is in a garage and you are the only employee. But don't worry, many successful businesses have started out that way. Well, it maybe helps that we have a time machine from Back to the Future. Let's start developing your first game. Close this message, and then click anywhere on the screen to bring up the action menu. Okay. So let's click on our time machine. Develop new game. Before development can begin, you have to decide what kind of game you will create and give your game a name. You can also select which graphic technology your game should use. So this will also give us kind of a cool chance to relive a lot of memories that we may have when we used to game, especially in terms of graphic capability. Your options are initially limited, but once you have a bit of experience, you will be able to unlock new options. That certainly makes sense. All right. So I say let's start with a topic first before we make a title, because obviously we want to know what kind of game we're going to make. Well, we're kind of limited here. Prison game. I don't know what that would be. A law game. Rhythm games are certainly popular, but I don't remember them being too popular in the 80s. I was born in 85, so I guess I really don't remember any games in 85 then. Let's go with fantasy. That's your basic fantasy game. Let's do... what should we call it? A fantasy game. Let's think. Let's do Bears with Swords. Exclamation mark. Just to punch it right at the end. We're going to pick a genre. I think it's an RPG. I can only feel like Bears with Swords would be sort of an RPG element. Now, this is kind of where it gets a little bit technical. I like this simulation aspect of it. So you have market share versus development cost. I think for the development cost of $5,000, especially based on our limited budget of $70 that we have, it probably doesn't make sense to get that extra 12% market share with that, which I assume G64, probably Commodore 64. So let's develop for the PC, and we're going to do next. So now we can create a text-based role-playing game or a 2D version 1. I'm guessing that's obviously version 1. I think text-based for a role-playing game back in those days might have made a little bit more sense. So here we go. Our little man, the bubbles are going. Tutorial, all right. Game development runs through 3 stages. At the beginning of each stage, you can decide what areas of the game you want to focus on. Picking the right focus for your game greatly increases the points you generate. Think about what areas are important for your game and decrease the focus on areas you think are less important. If you want to read a brief description of the different areas, please refer to the help menu. Well, we're not going to do that. We're going to wing it. Now, online, you can actually get charts that will tell you if you're making a fantasy RPG text-based game, you should do max this or min this. I don't want to do that because that's kind of boring and it kind of takes the fun out of it. So this was a text-based game, right? Yeah, I think it was text-based. So we have a text-based game. It's a role-playing game. We know story and quests are very important in a role-playing game. Gameplay is important. The engine, maybe we should check the help menu. Will it tell us? Stage 1. Engine. The game provides the basic building blocks of a game, the underlying technology. A good engine also enables things like multiplayer support, video playback, and realistic physics. So, obviously that's important because you want the game to run. But do we want to lack? Let's do a little bit less in the engine, a little bit more on the gameplay side of things, and then let's make it. So our little guy's getting to work. Game development has now started. While developing your game, you will generate game points, which you can see bubbling up. Game points are divided into design points and technology points. The more points you generate, the better the game will be. From time to time, there will also be bug points generated. These bug points become less likely once you gain experience. Bugs should be fixed before the game is released and increase development time and cost. Alright, so here's our little man. Little MacDac typing away at the PC. Development stage 2. So dialogue we know is pretty important in role-playing games. AI, not so important. Is it? A little bit. Level design's not so important. So I would say dialogue because it's text-based and probably AI. A little bit of level design. You're not really worried about that too much in a role-playing game. So we get all the points going up. Where are the bugs? Oh, on the left side. Yeah, so we want to try to get those out. So we just had monthly costs to come up, if you notice in the upper right-hand corner. During development, you can also select additional features for your game. Right now, you can only pick basic sounds, but your options will increase quickly. Selecting additional features makes the game generally better, but also increases its cost. You will also see the graphic type you selected when you define the game. This is just to remind you of your choice. You cannot change the type of graphics mid-game. Okay, well that makes sense. So on the right side, we see selected features. So we get a text-based game, basic sounds. World design, huge in role-playing games, especially with bears. Graphics, not so much. Sounds, not so much. I would rather focus on world design. Graphics, sort of have it, kind of cascade down. So I would rather have that. So let's click OK, and let's get the bears armed with their swords. So each stage, you just saw negative $5,000. Each stage comes down and costs a little bit more money. Okay, so the development of your first game is now complete. You can press the finish button to publish your game, but you should only do so once you fix the majority of bugs. Releasing a game without fixing bugs can severely affect your ratings, so you should only ever consider that if you need the cash and you can't afford to wait. We don't need the cash. This is the first game. We do not want to put out a lemon. So we sit here, and little MacDac in his sweater vest gets rid of all the bugs. Oh, okay, so he even adds more to the game. A little bit more tech. Let's just kick around a little bit longer. So this must be the month, or that's a week. So let's stay one more week. Oh, another bug. Come on. All right, good. Okay, now we'll finish it right at the end of the month. The development of your game is now finished. While developing games, you gain experience and improve your skills. When development is completed, you will be presented with a summary of the experience gained. All right, so we leveled up. Got 11 in technology, 15 in design. So it's kind of cool. As you go, you can make different games, especially if it's stuff that you like, Oh, you can throw the game away right at the end? I guess if it's really that bad. All right, your game is now complete and will be handed off to publishing. We should see the reviews and sales coming in for the game soon. So that's cool. So now can we... All right, so game history. This is where we can kind of look back. You can see our very first game, Bears with Swords. We don't know how many units we've sold. The release date, it's coming soon. Our first game, we'll click OK out of that, just to get a sense of what the menu does. Research. Oh, okay, so here. Research is important to unlock new options and make better games. You should try to save enough research points to be able to create your own game engine. This will greatly improve your games. Try to develop games with different topics and genre combinations for a slight research boost. So to develop, we need research points. So we can't even get there. A new topic. Oh, okay. So we can invest in a new topic. Let's do that. 10 research points, or should we save them? I don't have a ton of ideas for a law game. I guess like Phoenix. What's his name? The Phoenix games. I know people are probably screaming at their computer screens right now. Ace Attorney, Phoenix. Could make something like that, but I haven't yet to play one of those games before. So let's not do any research now. The first reviews for our newly released game, Bears with Swords, came in. Let's hope they like it. 7 out of 10. Good game, Star Games. Thanks, Star Games. Played it for days. Informed gamer. Love it. Game hero. All right, solid scores for the first 3. Can't wait for the sequel. Bears with Swords 2. Maybe it'll be like Bears with Bows. We can do something like that. That isn't a bad idea. We'll shelve that for later. After publishing a game, you can invest a little bit of time to analyze your creation and generate a game report. Game reports are a great way to gain research points as well as valuable insights into what works and what doesn't work when developing a game. To generate a game report, close this message and click anywhere on the screen to bring up the action menu. All right, generate a game report. Yep, Bears with Swords. Insurgent Games, a newcomer in the game industry, has just released their first game, Bears with Swords. The game received favorable reviews. With such a good start, Insurgent Games are sure to gain fans quickly. Let's hope so. Bears with Swords sold 6,500 units in the first week on the market. We made it in the charts at number 11. Now your game is on sale. You will receive income each week. All right, so we're going to get income. You can see how well your game is doing by looking at the sales graph in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Bears with Swords was so successful that we now have 47 fans. Cool. Okay, so he's generated game reports, so we can't do anything right now. Bears with Swords has achieved a company sales record of over 10,000 units sold. This is an important milestone in the history of Insurgent games. So yeah, we're quickly dropping off. Our post-release analysis of Bears with Swords is complete, and we got the following results. Fantasy and RPG is a great combo, obviously. AI seems to be not very important for this type of game, which we said while we were developing. Story and quest seem to be very important for this type of game. So we hit the nail right on the head for all three of those when we have originally developed it. Game reports are a great way to gain more research points and new insights. It pays off to generate a report for each game you release. Now that you've completed your first game report, it's a good idea to look at the research menu. To open the research menu, close this message, and then click anywhere on the screen to bring up the action menu. All right. So here, we already kind of looked a little bit into this about how we can choose different topics or create a game engine. We certainly don't want to do that. Maybe we'll do a new topic. Sports are so boring and mundane, but maybe we can make them fun. Let's try it. So he's looking into finding more about sports games. We're making some cash. I got $133,000. I wish this converted into real money. Looks like a Pong poster in the background. That's pretty cool. You have successfully researched a new topic, sports. All right, so let's use it. Sports games. So what kind of sports games could you do for the PC back in the 80s, according to this? So obviously, sports would have to be simulation. You know, we can just go with the basic, generic game to make money right at the beginning, and then we can kind of talk about what's important for this sort of a genre, a sports simulator for the PC. So let's go. I don't know if anybody remembers the XFL by Vince McMahon back in the WWF days, not the WWE days. So we have XFL Extreme, because everything's extreme when you're playing sports, isn't it? Text-based, no. We want to do 2D graphics. Maybe it could be like a side-scrolling shooter where you just shoot footballs out of this cannon. All right, story and questing, we know this is absolutely not important. We know gameplay is huge in sports simulators, and the engine, all of the bells and whistles behind the scenes are very important. So we'll put that at around the mid-range to maybe a little bit higher. Bears with Swords continues to make some money, though. Everybody going to Staples to go buy their games like the old days. Dialogue, no one talks and no one speaks. AI, very important. Level design, that's kind of interesting. So level design, there are no levels, really. It's just all AI. So can we drop this and just focus on AI? Yeah, let's try it. So this is our first simulation game. XFL Extreme. Game off the market. Bears with Swords is now off the market. It sold 22,000 copies, generating 160 grand in sales. That's not shabby. Nope. Looks like he's got some head lice. Industry news. Recent market study suggests that the Commodore, the Commodore 64 is steadily outselling competitors in the PC sector. Consumers prefer the lower price, greater availability, and the flexible hardware configuration over other home computers. So PC's starting to fall off. Commodore's coming into style. Experts say that this might spell the end of competing hardware manufacturers. One cool thing about this game, too, is they throw in these small nuances about how, like, back in the day, you know, like, oh, now, since the Commodore is becoming so popular, maybe the PC is, you know, on its way out or something. Obviously, we know now in 2014 that's not the case. World design, completely unimportant. Graphics, huge in sports. Sounds are also very important. Can we match them? I don't think they're as important as graphics. So it's kind of neat. You know, you can sit back and, using our time machine going back 35 years, you can kind of see where gaming's gone and what misconceptions at the time were there. I'm going to let him finish this off until we get to the end of week 4. So let's see if he generates anything else before the month is up. He's not. He's just sitting there scratching his head. All right, finish. XFL Extreme. New record. All right. All right, let's release the game. The first reviews for our newly released game, XFL Extreme, came in. Well, I started off closer to the 10 range. Oh, enjoyable Star Games. Thanks, Star Games. Nice experience. Nice experience. That's not bad. Better than a bad experience, right? Shows potential. Whatever. Game Hero. Have seen better. Well, no one cares about all games anyway. Alright, so our game is released. According to rumors, the Japanese company Nintendo is currently planning to launch its very own home gaming console. Nintendo is known for the widely successful arcade game Dinky King. Alright. Many industry experts doubt that home gaming consoles will take off, but we are eager to see what Nintendo will deliver. Well, once again, we know that's not the case. I have a PS4 and a Wii U downstairs in my game room, completely to the contrary of that assumption. So let us do a game report for XFL Extreme. Let's see what worked. Let's see what didn't. Gained a few fans. Looks like week 1 we got 30,000 sales and gained some fans. Our post-release analysis of XFL Extreme is complete, and we got the following results. Sports simulation is a great combo. Sound seems to be quite important for this type of game. Engine seems to be quite important for this type of game. So all things that we kind of thought. You know, a lot of the things are pretty self-explanatory. If you've played games before, obviously you know that questing in a sports game isn't very important. So you can just, you know, level that. We have 36 research points. Let's take a look at the topics again. Oh, let's do a superhero game. Absolutely. Since that's all the rage. We can do Rocksteady's Batman Arkham Asylum back in a text-based game. That would probably be really bad, so we won't do that. But he's writing stuff down on his little pad, putting it down, crunching numbers. You have successfully researched news topic superheroes. Today, Nintendo has confirmed recent rumors and announced their plans to release a new gaming console called TES early next year. So obviously a play off the NES. The console features cartridge-based games and is uniquely and a uniquely designed controller. Okay, now is that out or is that? Let's just see. Pick a platform. No, so we still can't build for it. The market share for the G64 has grown. Now that we have some money, so this is kind of a cool part, right? So at the beginning we were just making for $5,000 the dev cost, but now that this has such a huge market share at almost like 17% more, let's make something for the Commodore 64. An action game with superheroes is probably a cool idea. So I don't know if anybody remembers, now this is for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, Boogerman. So we can call this one, we'll make a little bit of a play. This is a little bit of a rip-off, but Snot Monsters. No more exclamation marks. I don't know why I'm ODing in exclamation marks. We could do Snot Monsters question mark, like the game is asking us if they are Snot Monsters. That's kind of stupid. Alright, let's just do Snot Monsters. Superhero action game for the Commodore 64. Definitely we want 2D based graphics. Maybe we can save some research points to do a game engine and kind of showcase that. That'd be cool. Alright, so it's an action game, so let's think. You kind of want story and side questing. Engine really isn't as important. Replays and stuff like that. Gameplay is definitely high. So let's put story and questing. Because you want a decent story in an action game. Just enough to make it worth your time. XFL Extreme is now off the market. It sold 16,000 copies, generating 113,000 in sales. So that's cool. So we can you can look at game history, which is neat, right? We can go, this cost us, so let's go, units sold. So this did not sell as well as our Bears with Swords. Well, I mean, anybody, Bears with Swords. I would buy that in a heartbeat. Yeah, so this was certainly our, this was our moneymaker right at the beginning. So 6.2 average. It's because of that Game Hero. Not that bad of a game. Alright, superheroes, action. What do we want? Level design is huge. AI. You still want some decent challenge. A little bit of dialogue. Just like Double Dragon back in the day, you know, just enough to let you know you're playing a game. As you can see, too, we're generating a little bit less bugs as MacDeck gets a little bit better at game design. We definitely want good world design. Sound for an action game, probably high. And we want good graphics. I feel like maybe... I think that's fine. Yeah, that looks good. Let's try that. Everything's about even. I don't know, an action game, you want graphics, the explosions, all that stuff. Not much you're going to get out of Commodore 64, but... Alright, so we'll bug test. We'll wait until the end of week 4, until we pay our monthly fee of our garage. If we're in our own garage, why is there a monthly cost? I don't understand. Well, whatever. Snot Monsters. New record for game design. Ah, gameplay. We have leveled up there. Awesome. Oh, and I almost leveled up. So let's release Snot Monsters and let's see the reviews. The first reviews for our newly released game, Snot Monsters, came in. Oh, this is looking horrendously average again. Enjoyable, Star Games. Come on, 10. No. Played it for days. Oh, one of the best. Nice. Game Heroes starting to redeem themselves now because they think I'm the best. Beautiful. Beautiful, huh? That's odd. Close. All right. So let's see where we're at. Snot Monsters is getting released. We are going to stop episode 1 here. Thank you so much for watching, and look forward to episode 2 where we will continue to move in. So we know that the Nintendo is on its way. Dinky King is Nintendo's big game, so obviously we know this is Nintendo and Donkey Kong. We're right on the cusp of getting into the 8-bit gaming side of things. So we will see you on episode 2.